A warm welcome to you all on this Monday, the 22nd of August. As many of you know well, these programs aim to introduce triangles to those people who are new to the work and to encourage them in the forming of their own triangles. They also aim to create a space for those people who are already engaged in triangles to participate in a visualization exercise to support and to strengthen the planetary network. So before we go any further, let us take a moment to come together as a group on the mental plane by saying the noontime recollection. We know, O Lord of life and love, about the need. Touch our hearts anew with love, that we too may love and give. Triangle's work uses the power of focused thought to uplift, transform, and illuminate human consciousness. 3 people come together and daily link in thought to circulate energy through the points of their triangle. Each triangle is a part of a vast planetary energy field surrounding the planet, through which beneficent healing energies can pour into human consciousness. The network is created and vitalized by the daily work of each individual member. The cumulative effect of the many thousands of members all over the world who come together in consciousness to serve humanity makes it a powerful, redemptive, and effective tool. Every focused triangle that is added to the network enhances the whole, lightens the mental atmosphere of the planet, and helps to relate the inner and outer worlds. It only takes a few minutes, and it can be done at any time of the day. It's completed by the sounding of the Great Invocation, which focuses and releases the spiritual energies available, energizing and stimulating the planetary network of light and of goodwill. So if you are new to the work and you resonate to the theme of planetary service through the power of thought, then please consider forming a triangle of your own. You can express your interest in the chat box in this webinar. And if you do that, then hopefully 2 others will do likewise. And if you do form a triangle, then please do register it at www.triangles.org. So now let us take a moment to imagine the collective consciousness of all who are gathered here, fusing into one united spiritual organism and serving as a mediating point of consciousness between the human kingdom and the kingdom of souls. Opening up before the group mind, we see a square or oblong composed of a kaleidoscope mass of achaotic colours, moving, pulsating, and in constant, indescribable fusion. Superimposed upon this square is a radiant sun, with a penumbra composed of the 7 prismatic colours. These colours radiate from the sun in regular rhythmic bands and produce a marvellous blaze of colour. The background of the square appears to have its confusion of colours shown of a heavy, lurid kind and quality. The scheme of beauty emerging, even if it appears as superimposed, is translucent and delicate and radiantly living in hue. The heavier background can be distinctly seen through the translucence. Work creatively and imaginatively with this living symbol. As the group becomes sensitive to its magnetic field of revelation, imagine a new transparency of lighted meaning and spiritual order revealing itself. Focus the formula to a point of spiritual tension. Lead us from chaos to beauty. Visualize the bands of prismatic color radiating out from the sun and through the group mind and heart, carrying those revelatory energies which are ready to emerge in the world. Let us say together, the joy of the divine self is my strength. The power of the spirit of man shall triumph. The forces of light do control the forces of evil. The work of the great ones must go on. The coming one is on the way. The avatar approaches. For this, we must prepare. Oh, oh. There is no doubt that the current times are difficult. Our way of life is being challenged through wars, through drought, fires, the constant threat of new viruses, increasing levels of inequality, fuel and food shortages, and the resultant problem of civil unrest. It is becoming increasingly apparent that the current methods of organizing resources that rely on maximizing profit, on pitting firm against firm, or nation against nation, are no longer working. There is, after all, only one planet, a fixed resource which provides the basis for the survival of all the kingdoms in nature. Within humanity, if one nation wins economically, it will be at the mercy of other nations. The unparalleled wealth accumulation of some means the loss of the means of living for others. If one kingdom in nature dominates and ravages another, as the human kingdom is doing to the vegetable through massive deforestation, for example, then the animal kingdom become the direct losers. Of course, we know that the planet is a place of abundance and that there is more than enough for all its inhabitants if resources are shared and sustained. It seems that the current economic models are no longer fit for purpose, and the chaos that is ensuing is contributing to the breakdown of the ways of living that are no longer sustainable. The materialistic, selfish, individualistic path is having to give way to a new way of living based on cooperation, sharing, and sustainability. Growth through selfish domination will have to give way to growth through sharing. The way of achieving it, however, is not yet fully clear, and the process of conversion is, as we are experiencing, slow and painful. We are in a state of dissonance, of confusion and uncertainty. The mental and emotional planes are engulfed within a bewildering mass of heavy, murky, dull, and chaotic colours that hinder and conceal. It is within this murk that we have to work, seeking continually to raise ourselves above it, to see as the soul sees, but often finding that the suffering, fear, and pain of such uncertainty drags us down. The worries for others busy the mind, making it difficult to maintain clarity of thinking. But it is essential that we do strive for clarity of thought, that we do not get caught up in the glamour and many illusory ideas and thinking that seek to divert. There are strong and established forces that work ceaselessly to obscure, as the recent case against Alex Jones highlights. The human race creates the reality or illusion that we labour within, and this acts as a veil that separates us from the truth, that is one of order, beauty, and radiance. As we work to raise our consciousness to the soul, to the truth, and redeem our bodies of expression through purified living, so we touch and channel the finer, more translucent colours of the soul that then radiate out into the environment through us, penetrating the chaos and bringing an element of ordered beauty. We become much like a lens where these higher, finer colours can penetrate the murk. And as part of the much larger lens of the new group of world servers, we project ordered light on the swirling, chaotic colours that have been created by misguided human thinking down the ages. Contact with these living, radiant hues that exist on soul levels lead us eventually to the ray ashram to which it is our destiny to serve. It is as we redeem our personal nature, transforming our vices into virtues, that the colours we radiate change to reflect increasingly the radiant hues of the egoic lotus, colours that barely resemble the colours we know so well on material levels. Each ashram has a base colour that radiates in 7 streams of related hue, that through recognition and eventual identification, we learn to work with in service. Like each master at the centre of an ashram, the Christ stands much like a sun at the centre of the hierarchy, wielding the colours that stimulate the qualities within the new group that are needed to bring about the changes necessary to usher in the new age and bring order out of chaos. It is these colours that attract the needed substance to create the forms for the new age. The 7th ray, the violet ray, has been cycling into manifestation over the past few hundred years to help with this process. It expresses the power to organize, the ability to integrate, and to bring into synthetic relation the great pairs of opposites, and thus produce the new forms and new colors of spiritual manifestation. The first ray of destruction works with facility through the 7th ray, and the crisis and chaos that it brings are a necessary part of the path to reconstruction. As we are finding, the results of the impact of Shambhala energy upon first-ray individuals and nations are potent in the extreme. Governments and their leaders throughout the world are clearly responding to this energy, although each in their own way and from their own point of evolutionary development. It is a power that is wielded often unconsciously, but generally with a sense of destiny, and of course, within the confines of party and national groups. There are mistakes in techniques being made, and often the law of love is infringed, but it is evoking in the world the political and organizational changes which, while disturbing and unsettling, are preparing the way for the constructive work much needed that will bring the higher colors into play. The current dissonance and discord, the clashing of the colors, is because of the fight between humanity's higher and lower self. The constructive process brings a blending of the primary color of the higher self with the secondary hue of the lower self until beauty is achieved. It takes time, but there are enough disciples within the world to hold the vision so that harmony of color and tone will eventually be produced. It is a vision that is gaining clarity through the work of the new group of world servers, who are making much progress in bringing about awareness of the unity of life, the importance of brotherhood and cooperation between peoples and nations. Ideas that have a clarity and beauty of color that can penetrate the murk and touch the minds of humanity, illuminating the path to a better way of living and being. This will, however, take the power of the will in its constructive form to come about. A quality of the will that is being stimulated through the presence of the Christ, the Son, who stands at the center of the 5-pointed star of the new group of world servers. Last time he was present on earth, he overshadowed an individual, Jesus. Today he overshadows the new group and acts as the great lens through which the needed energies, particularly the 7th, in all its varying hues, can penetrate. The 5-pointed star, imbued with the ordered beauty of the higher colors, will thus stimulate the ideas and the will within people to shift from a world where growth comes from domination and competition to growth as a result of sharing. War is a consequence of domination and competition between peoples and nations, and will sadly continue on mental, emotional, and physical levels for some time. However, as the current forms are gradually dismantled, and as the widespread recognition of the unity of life within the human family becomes more established, as the beauty of right human relations flourishes, that much sought after peace to which we all strive will eventually prevail. So let us now do our visualization. Let's focus ourselves as a group upon the mental plane. Link in thought as a soul, as a point of love and light, with all those people throughout the world who are working with this Triangles meditation group. In the center of the will of God I stand. Naught shall deflect my will from his. I implement that will by love. I turn towards the field of service. I, the triangle divine, work out that will within the square and serve my fellow men. Using the creative imagination, link with two other points of light to create a triangle of light. Visualize the triangle in which you are working as an essential part of the radiant worldwide triangles network. Hold the consciousness immersed within the light of the group soul, the heart of love, which underlies and infuses the network. Now lift your consciousness to the world teacher who stands as the heart of love at the center of the spiritual hierarchy and also at the heart of each triangle. Visualize the energies of love, light, and goodwill circulating in and around the triangle's network. Visualize these energies unifying and eliminating all divisions within humanity, healing and transforming human consciousness, and establishing right human relationships. The souls of all are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. Visualize the whole planet alight with triangles. See new triangles being formed everywhere. Sound the great invocation, silently or aloud. As you repeat each stanza, visualize the network acting as a link between the world of spiritual realities and humanity, and as a channel through which light and love and divine purpose can flow into human consciousness. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore a plan on Earth. Oh. Oh. Thank you. If anyone has any comments, thoughts, or impressions, please feel free to raise your hand and speak out, or you can type a comment in the question box. A copy of the, sorry, go on.
I just wanted to let people know if anybody wants to form a new triangle, somebody on Facebook, his name's Simon Kenda, is posting in the chat of this video, so you can find him there.
Thank you, Joshua. And a copy of the talk is actually in the chat box for anybody who wants to download it. I seem to have lost. Where's it gone? Well, there's general silence. Is there a hand?
Yes, Santana, would you like to? Hi.
Hello. Hi. Well, I just partly the chat was disabled, but I think you enabled it now. So I'm going to ask you my question. Christine, that was wonderful about all the colors. And I know there are colors throughout the books about the colors of the rays and the colors of the ashrams and the colors of the plains. And I just wondered if you had a particular book that you would recommend that perhaps focused more on the different colors, because I do see colors. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. That's an interesting question, because I too have been seeking a book that that explores color in more detail. There's plenty of material on websites about color, but that's it. There's a lot of material that's already relatively well known, and there are books about how the qualities that colors bring out in us or represent, and that's all quite easy to find. The more esoteric understanding of colors is something that there doesn't seem to be anything out there as yet. I mean, Letters of Occult Meditation does have a section on color, and it's worth reading that and pondering on it. It seems to me that color is something that we each have to work with ourselves, test it out, embrace color, and try and tap into the quality that those colors are seeking to manifest, and the qualities that we see in ourselves and others, and try and assign colors to those qualities. So I think it's a work in progress. It's something that we ourselves have to embrace and get involved with. Unless anybody else knows of any books or writings that go beyond what is sort of generally out there, I'd be very interested to know. So yeah, sorry, I can't actually recommend anything with regards to esoteric understanding of color other than Letters on Occult Meditation. So the chat was disabled. So I was just good to know, because I thought there was complete silence from everybody, which is a little bit worrying. But hey, thank you so much for putting some nice comments in the chat. The talk is uploaded, as far as I'm aware, right at the very beginning of the chat. And someone actually gives the actual page numbers about color in Letters on Occult Meditation, which is 204 to 252. So thank you for that. Gary is saying, I can just, oh, I've lost it. So as the fourth ray manifests into 2025, I hypothesize that music and color will become more of the norm, including the use of it in science, medicine, and possibly psychology. Every time I click on your comment, it moves too far. So I don't know if I caught all of it. My computer's not behaving itself. So sorry if I didn't catch all of your, oh no, and possibly psychology. Thank you. And Anne has said, oh no, sorry. So Anne has said, oh no. I have found just lately that visualizing color as I go through the alignment has helped with alignment. And that's interesting, because that's very much my experience that color is very important in the alignment process. And I think we each associate colors with the various stages of alignment, and we probably all have our own ideas as to what those colors are, probably dependent very much on the ray makeup of our minds and emotions. So it's interesting. Color is very interesting in the meditation process.
There's a hand raised. John?
Well, thank you, Kathy. Thank you. I was just going to relay one of the reasons for silence today is there is an aspect in the sky, a trine between Mercury and Pluto, harmonious between ray 4, ray 1. So the Tibetan is mentioned in several places as we transition from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. Some of the dominant tones and colors will change. We'll lose the beautiful Piscean blue of years past, and we'll begin to see more in the orange hues as time passes by. I just thought I'd share that with the group today.
Thank you, John. That's a lovely offering. It goes on to say that certain flowers and fruits are going to be phased out, such as bluebells.
And even more concerning to me is that eventually we will stop talking and singing as we find different ways to communicate. So sing all you can right now in this particular incarnation.
Oh, that's interesting. And another thing that is something close to my heart is olives. Apparently olives are going to be phased out, which is, yeah, not so great, but we'll probably get something equally wonderful in that comes in with the new colors. So thank you, John.
Thank you.
So George is saying, our work is to introduce and promote in collective human consciousness, the true values of the soul. Values can be expressed in colors and many other ways, absolutely. Not everyone is particularly attuned to color. Again, it depends most likely on your ray makeup. And there are lots of other ways of aligning with aligning yourself with the soul, not just color. And that's important to remember. Actually, Jay says that Rudolf Steiner may have some lectures on color and the esoteric understanding of them. Thank you for that. I shall look into that. And Leslie says, many of us have read books by Torquem Saradarian, including Creative Sound, The Aura, and some of his later books that deal with esoteric color. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my computer, which means I'm struggling to. Not getting the rest of that comment. Oh, I think it's and with relationships to the rays, even vitamins and cell salts. Interesting. The Tibetan does say in his books that color and more detail on color will come with the next phase of the teachings, because working with color, that color has huge power. And yeah, so we have to be careful when working with color. And there is, I forget his name, there's an Eastern, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name. There is a person who's passed on now, but has done some extensive work with color in the pranic healing area. And he actually worked with color on himself, which has or did have quite definite effects on his bodies of expression, on his physical body particularly, and not always beneficial. But he has produced quite a bit of information on color from his own research. And if someone can remember his name, he's a pranic. He's the person who set up the pranic healing.
Christine, there's a hand raised. Lois, would you like to unmute yourself?
Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was just, of some of the readings I have done over the years, it seems as if we will be seeing more colors, that there'll be more than red, orange, yellow, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that will probably happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what those colors will be.
I think we're getting a hint of them already with the changing light of the sun. The light pouring into the planet from the sun is changing, and that is supposed to peak around 2025. So it has been changing for a while and peaking at 2025, and then apparently our eyes are going to adapt to this new light, and we will see the more subtle colors that at the moment we don't register.
Yes,
So,
I read that, and that part of that is why many of us have to wear glasses now as our eyes are getting more prepared to see more colors.
Yeah.
So our eye structure will change subtly, I'm sure, so we can see them. One of the things I do is I also work with the color white, because the new colors are there probably.
They are probably, sorry.
I'm just saying the new colors are probably already somewhere in white.
Within the white, or within violet.
The white.
Yeah. Or within violet. Yeah.
Or within violet. And I understand that violet is the color that we couldn't see many, many thousands of years ago. So within the violet, but there might even be a color that is completely new.
Absolutely. Exciting times.
Yes. There'll be a color that we didn't even know existed, and it will be new. I've read this in, Carol Parrish writes about it, and I've been one of her students for a long time, and we did a section on color.
Oh, how interesting.
Yes, and she has sections on color in her books. Carol Parrish.
Okay, thank you.
Carol Parrish. And I'm sure in the Book of Rituals, she talks about it, as well as many, many, many of her other books.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes, her books are excellent, as was her teaching. She started Sancta Sophia in Tahlequah, Nebraska, or Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Right.
So I was there learning things. It's an amazing place.
Wow. What an experience.
It is. There's 7 ley lines on this hill.
Wow.
Where she created a planned community and opened a seminary, and the teachers went all over the country. So I felt very lucky.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I hope you all can find her books
Carol
and enjoy
Parrish.
them.
Yeah,
Carol
thank you.
Parrish.
Thank you.
Parrish. Her Book of Rituals is really quite excellent.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing.
Yes, thank you. I didn't know I'd raised my hand, so.
We're glad you didn't.
Oh,
We're
no,
glad you
no.
spoke. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think there is somebody else. Ellie wants to speak. Is that right?
Hi, hello.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I left a comment, I know you're getting through them, about the links to the mineral kingdom.
Mhm.
And there are materials about gem elixirs that were channeled back in the 80s by Garundas, Kevin Ryerson, and
Mhm.
another, that are very helpful. Edgar Casey also prescribed color in some of his, he diagnosed and also read for approximately 30,000 people in his lifetime. Only about half of those were actually recorded and are still on file at the Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, in Virginia Beach. But he often prescribed color, and also, in fact, the vibration of gold was
Mhm.
something, is actually why they moved the ARE to Virginia Beach, apparently, because they would bury people neck deep in the sand because of the high gold content. But
How
just to say,
interesting.
just to say that the mineral kingdom is like the flowers of, I'm sorry, they're like flowers.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
the gems we see are the flowers of the mineral kingdom, the semi-precious and precious stones.
Mm.
But all these things have a vibration, and of course
Mm.
we're comprised of the same stardust. So, we're all individuals, but there are commonalities amongst us all. And then the other thing I was going to say is, just in regard to the subject matter today overall, I've long believed, I've practiced homeopathy just on a personal basis for about 40 years. And in any kind of healing, whether it's gem elixirs or flower essences or homeopathy or even conventional Western medicine, which is at times very helpful. Also, you have something called the Herxheimer effect, which is when there's a level of toxicity through release. And it's a dicey time in a human body. So as above, so below, it's a dicey time on Earth, because there has been this infusion of light and love and all kinds of interests, I will say, from forces beyond Earth in what's happening on Earth ever since we developed the capacity to blow our planet up in particular. So I think that we're going through one of these Herxheimer effects, where this infusion of energy, let's just call it, is kind of exposing the shadow, the underbelly, and that's part of us all. Everything we see, we are essentially one. It's complicated, as simple as that sounds. It's such a complicated matter. We are also essentially infinite, but we're trapped in this time space by choice, and we all came here to experience this particular thing. So in homeopathy, and even in like body work, there's a phenomenon of like peeling layers of the onion, so to speak, where you start to get into the stuff, and a lot of times you get this Herxheimer or Herx effect, where the client, the patient, right now planet Earth and the denizens thereof, feel a little sick because the toxicity is coming out.
Absolutely.
So there's a light at the other end, but our job, certainly in this group, and just as individuals who are hopefully on a conscious path on this planet, is to anchor the light and merge it with love, because light alone can be dangerous. I mean, an unguided laser will kill you. Okay.
Yeah.
But light with purpose can be amazing, and that's what we're doing. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for today, and thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you for sharing, Ellie.
Yeah, thanks for all you guys do for our planet. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. There are many messages which I'm probably not going to have time to go through. as it is actually 9 o'clock. So we've sort of run out of time, which is a bit of a shame. But one thing, it's someone has put down the name of the pranic healer, Koksui, which was the name that was avoiding my mind, which is, yeah, as it happens to us all. So anyway, thank you so much, all of you, for participating in a really powerful meditation tonight, which I'm sure has had a significant impact on the world. We'll take a moment of silence before we end the webinar. So thank you all once again for joining, and we look forward to joining with you again next week.